All right, good morning. Good morning. It is cold out. -8 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill making it feel like at -25 degrees Fahrenheit. But still gonna go hit the gym this morning, give myself a little extra sleep, but it's still early. And today's leg day, and today is tougher the two. Well, both leg days are tough in different ways, but I have a conventional squat today, and so I have 5 sets of squats, and going to increase the weight again from yesterday, from last week. I'm hoping to keep my form on spot. My coach says it's getting better, and just need to keep it consistent throughout the entire sets and every rep for every set. But yeah, doing five sets of squats. Then I got 5 sets of good mornings. Those are the ones where you're standing up and you're bending over with the bar, works your hammies. And then I have double dumbbell barbell rows, so I'm bending over doing doubles with the dumbbells. And then I have an exercise, when you see it, you don't really think that it's much, but it's pretty killer on my hammies. It's that back extension thing, which is, I don't even know what you call it, a platform. You're at a 45-degree angle and you bend down, with your back and back up. But I'm doing it with single legs, so only at one leg in place, and it actually works your hammies pretty darn good. And seriously, after I got to drop the weight from last week because I not doing the consistency the way I need to do it, and not controlling my reps. And so I got to control my reps when I do that to get that stretch even more. But regardless, it's going to be a nice leg day. I'm excited for it. The exertion, the pushing, the effort and needing to go into the growth of my quadriceps and my hamstrings, get those things a bit bigger. And I could feel, in some things, pants, my compression shorts and that kind of stuff, that they are actually getting a little bit bigger, which is good. Can you see my breath? You can see my breath. So I got my heat on and stuff. I didn't warm up my car before I went. But it's one of these things you do. No matter how old you get, you still breathe out the smoke. Think you're being cool or something. But today with work, we are working on some more of our onboarding. We got another person in operations, and continue to grow that. We have another loan officer that's just waiting for his license transfer to be official. But we keep on growing. We keep on growing, keep on improving, keep on optimizing. Now, for last week, last week Friday, we had our mindset training, and normally one of my business partners, he does those trainings most of the times, but he was got pulled into a different thing he had to go to, so I did the mindset training. And what I did, I talked a little bit, but I read a speech from Vince Lombardi on what it takes to be number one. And if you've never read that speech, look it up. Look up Vince Lombardi, what it takes to be number one speech, and just read it. I have it in a picture. I got it over 20 years ago, and I still have it. I keep it up in my office. It's there. And to remind me what it takes to be number one. And throughout that speech, there's tons of one-liners, two-liners, things that you'd see on posters of motivational things, and the whole thing is just completely chock full of it. And but the whole thing, you got to read the whole thing. But one of the things that I like, I don't remember exactly. First place is what he wants. He goes, he's been second before and he hates it. And he goes, there's a second place game, but it's a game for losers, played by losers. And I'm like, that's just the intensity, the drive, that is the focus, is to be number one. And his tenure in Green Bay was incredibly successful. A lot shorter dynasty than the Patriots dynasty, with Tom Brady. But they won the first 2 Super Bowls that ever were. Trophies named at Vince Lombardi. They won several championships before there was the Super Bowl. Throughout the 50s and in the 60s. And one of the most successful runs. And prior to that, they were terrible. Prior to him coming in, they were absolutely terrible. But he put that philosophy, we're going after number one. And if that's your goal, and that's your drive, that's your passion, your obsession is to be number one, and it's not just some wishy-washy, oh, I want to do this, I want to be this, but it's your drive is more often than not, let's say more often than not, but more often than not, you're going to get much better than you ever would. And 2, that's how you get to number one. It just doesn't happen by accident. Well, some people say, well, this thing happened and they got viral and became number one, blah, 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 blah. We far too often look at the exceptions and try to make those the rule. And we can't do that. The exceptions are exceptions. The rules are the rules. And hey, you might become an exception. But typically, even when you become an exception, is due to incredible hard work, dedication, obsession. People that win the lottery, it's always the poor people without any money playing lottery. You don't see rich people playing the lottery. And the people that win the lottery, those people more often than not, after how many years, they are completely broke. Worse spots than they were before. It's because they didn't learn how to have money. It sounds like, how hard can it be to have money? But when you never have money, and all of a sudden you have all this money, a lot of people just spend it willy-nilly doing the stupidest things thinking it'll never end, and it absolutely does end. You entrusted the wrong people, you invested in the wrong things, you can absolutely lose your money. Versus somebody that's worked hard and learned the value of it, those people are going to take care of that money much better. I know where I'm going with that. But that's something I heard recently too, and I was like, yeah, that's very true. So we got to have our intention, what's my goal? And then go after it with obsession. Vince Lombardi was to be number one. Went after it with obsession. And one of the amazing things too about Coach Lombardi is that a lot, hard-nosed guy and people and that kind of stuff. And however, all of his players, that you'd see interviews from his players, and later on in their lives and all of that, they all spoke so glowingly of Coach Lombardi and the impact he had on their lives and how much he meant to them. It's one of the coolest things. You see people nowadays complaining so much about that tough love, discipline, expectations, but those are the things that helps us obtain excellence. And so do yourself a favor, go read that poem. And not poem, why did I want to say poem? Go read that speech. Go read that speech, what it takes to be number one. And I promise you, as you read that, you're going to have a lot of, oh yeah, that's awesome. That's great. It's so true. Spot on. You're going to start having those epiphanies. All right, I'm at the gym. That's it for today. See you tomorrow.